Hi, I'm Lemire of Lemire T and Family Photography, LLC. Just want to take time to thank you and welcome you to our training series. There's a lot of great things that you'll find within our training series. We invite you to take your time. Feel free to write down any questions, take notes. That way, when we reconvene, we can answer any questions that you have. Again, we thank you and welcome you. Enjoy. I am the CEO and founder of Lemire T and Family Photography. I've worked in photography since 1999 and have been taking pictures since 2005. I'm well versed in training and development as I've been a studio manager for several portrait studios within Central Ohio. I've managed $500,000 portrait studios on down. So again, I'm very well versed in hiring, identifying talent, training, and developing. Lemire T and Family Photography is a limited liability corporation. We are licensed, insured, and registered in the state of Ohio. Some of the terms that you'll get used to in this process are as follows. Everything that we do is process-driven and process-related. That way, whether you're in Ohio or whether you're in Kentucky, we're making sure that we're producing the same product for all of our clients. If you happen to be at a job where teams are not coming to the camera as expected, it's quite natural that we'll break down one of the cameras and send another photographer home early. That is the term blowing a photographer out. Generally, anytime that we blow a photographer out and they leave early, it will be the photographer that's been on the job the longest or the one who has the furthest distance to travel. Anytime that you're taking a picture, and let's say this is the picture, and you've got this much of a subject in the frame, then you've got too much play that's going around the picture. You want to be able to focus more on your subject and have them to fill the frame, and therefore having a lot less play going around the picture. Anytime we're at a job, our intentions is to focus on the client and their needs and to make sure that we're taking great pictures of the children. Anytime that something is distracting you or keeping you frustrated and won't allow you to do these things, somebody may ask you if you're plugged in, which is just a friendly way of asking you, are you focused, or if you need time to step away to gather your thoughts, to get yourself together, to come back and be able to handle the job. Anytime we're referring to a client or to a league or association that is of a high dollar value to the company, you may hear us referring to this client or this account as being juicy. Because what we do so much is volume photography, in the sports arena is also called team and individual, or we call T&I. A lot of times we'll have a schedule for teams and people to come to the camera at certain times. But anytime there has to be an adjustment from that schedule, we're called being on the fly. So if you hear someone referring to us being on the fly, then that simply means there's been a change or an adjustment to the schedule. You may hear us refer to there's an all-hands meeting at a certain time or a certain date. That simply means that we're looking to gather all the photographers from that territory or on that day to get a better understanding of what may or may not have happened that picture day. Because you all are independent contractors, sometimes we would need documentation from you, whether it's your independent photographer questionnaire, whether it's your schedule sheet, or a copy of your driver's license. So anytime you hear us talk about docs, this is what we're referring to. We want to make sure that all of our photographers are easily identifiable in the territory, so everyone will have on a name badge that says photographer, or you'll have on a company shirt with the logo. Anytime that you're not updating your scheduler, and we don't know if you have availability for that day or for that week, someone may ask you, are you in the game? Which simply means, are you still taking pictures? Are you still on the schedule? Or did you know that you weren't updating the schedule? Our intention is to keep all of our photographers in a close proximity of their home even though our territory as a whole is an hour and a half around the city. Anytime that we ask you to drive somewhere and it's close to an hour, then you'll be paid drive time, which simply means you'll be paid from the time that you leave your home until the time that the job is done. Otherwise, you normally get paid from the moment you start setting up your equipment at the job. Because you will be traveling to the job site, it's suggested that you use an app that will help you to track your miles. As an independent contractor, it's very easy to rack up a good number of miles during the course of a year, and you can use these to write these off at the end of the year with your taxes. You will get access to our Square application that will not interfere with anything that you may be using Square for your personal business. That way, if a parent is interested in paying on site and doesn't want to leave their credit card information on the order form, you can open up your phone and process it right then and there. Every parent's going to hand you an order form that has the information of what they're ordering, also their child's name, and the team and the organization. Once you've taken the order form from the parent, you'll simply write on that order form the image number of the picture that you've taken, and this is what you'll collect at the end of the job. For every team picture that you take, they will have a slate attached to it. A slate is another way of saying it's an order form, but only for the team picture. We'll make sure that every job you have enough information to pass out, whether it's additional order forms, flyers, or business cards. We have several territories throughout the United States: Central Ohio, Northeast Ohio, Southwest Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania, D.C., Atlanta, Jersey, and Indianapolis. Because you're independent contractors, you don't work for the business, but you work with us. So at the end of the year, you will not receive a W-2 as an employee would, but you will receive a 1099. In the event that you make more than $600 in a calendar year, we are required by law to report this to the IRS, and we suggest that you do the same. If you do not make more than $600, then there's no need for you to report this to the IRS unless you feel it will help you in your taxes. Because we work in several areas, communication is big with our company, and we will meet you wherever you're looking to be met. In other words, if email is your preferred method of communication, then that's how we'll communicate with you. Some people like text, direct message, and phone calls. Again, however you're looking to be communicated with is just how we'll reach you. All of our photographers have access to a scheduler that is specific to their location and their territory. We ask that you go into the scheduler and mark out any days that you are not available. We also understand that most photographers have full-time employment. Whether it's a 9-to-5 or photography sustains you, we're not looking for you to mark out the days that you're at your job. We just assume that you'll be there every day. But we're looking for you to mark out the days that you're not available outside of your job. That way we can know when to schedule our clients or when's the best day to look at scheduling our clients. The last tab in the scheduler has a contact list for all of the people in the territory and all of the people in the company as well. That way, if you're running late to a job or have questions about somebody else who's on the job with you, you can reach out to them via email or to call them, or if you need to get a hold of me, you'll find my contact information there as well. Being very mindful of what you do and what you say as it comes to the job, even before the job and when you leave the job. All photographers should have a name badge or a company shirt with the logo worn at all times on every job. Your pants should be free from holes, rips, or tears and can be jeans or khakis. No open-toed shoes should be worn in the field at any time. Once you finish picture day, you'll take all of the order forms that you've received from the parents and you will overnight them to our business. For every dollar that you spent on overnighting them, you will be reimbursed. Order drop should take place within 24 hours of the job. Once you've completed your job, you'll take all of the pictures in the original form and you will drop box them over to the business. The picture drop should take place the same day of pictures, and the effort and the time that you spend dropping those pictures will also be a part of what you receive in pay. The equipment that you'll need for the job is very simple. It starts with the camera, the battery, the lens, memory card, speed light with batteries, and also a tripod. These are the standard things that you'll need from job to job. Some photographers like to use a strobe light and replace a speed light. It's not necessary, but it is preference. Ultimately, we're looking for you to use the equipment that you need to be able to get the pictures that we desire and that our parents deserve. Every photographer has a file folder with us, and we're looking to have consistent information within those folders. Starting with your independent photographer questionnaire, also a copy of your driver's license with your most updated information, and a scheduler sheet that gives us information on the equipment that you have. That way we can be aware of what's necessary in the territory and what may be needed from job to job. The flow that we're speaking about is your traffic flow. You want your subjects to come to the camera at one point and to be able to leave at another point. That way you have a consistent flow of traffic and the people who are coming are not being held up by the people that are leaving. There are also several other things that you want to be mindful of, whether you're photographing outside or inside. Outside, you'll definitely want to be mindful of the lighting. As the sun could come and go or hide behind clouds, you'll need to adjust your f-stop and also your shutter speed as well. You may also need to reposition your subject based on the way that the light may be hitting their face or the lack thereof light. It's always good to try to find a shaded area to be able to photograph individual pictures. That way you can have some control over the light. The speed light should allow you to be able to illuminate your entire subject as opposed to trying to fight the light of the sun and to figure out the perfect balance between the speed light and the sun. If you're indoors, the lighting should be a lot more consistent. You'll want to be mindful of potential shadows, and the closer your subject is to a wall or to a plane surface, the more of there is a potential for a hard shadow. You may consequently need to adjust your speed light where it's bouncing off the ceiling, move in a different direction, or even think about not going with the speed light at all. But ultimately, you want to make sure that your lighting is consistent from subject to subject. You don't want to hit the speed light with some kids and not with others, especially if there are siblings that are taking pictures at different times of day. Again, we want all of the pictures to have a consistent flow. Be mindful as you're focusing your subject and you're getting your proper pose together. Be mindful of trash or debris in the background. Also be mindful of some of the small things, whether it's glare on the glasses. Sometimes kids like to wear their hair bands on their wrist or rubber bands. Be mindful of any of those things that may show up in your pictures. One of the first things you should do once you get your equipment set up is take a couple of test pictures. That way you can make sure that the color you're seeing in your images are consistent with the colors that are present. Everything we do is based around good lighting. You want to make sure that your subject is clearly illuminated and we can see the face well. Especially when it comes to team pictures, you want to make sure that the kids that are on the left-hand side are just as well lit as the children that are on the right-hand side. Once you get to a job and you put your memory card in the camera, it's a good practice for you to format your card right away. That way it'll help you at the end of your job and you're doing a picture drop. You won't have to sift through images from the last job or pictures that you may have taken personally. Be mindful on a job of your work area. Children will be coming to and from the camera. Parents may be approaching you or your setup table with questions. We want to make sure that our area is free of debris and even free from our own equipment. We don't want anyone to potentially trip or fall or get injured from some of the equipment that we have. So be mindful and make sure that your area is always clean. One of the most important portions of the job is to shoot and make sure you're having fun. As long as you're having fun taking pictures, interacting with the parents and with the children as well, they'll have fun and it'll be a memorable picture day for everyone. Once your order drop and picture drop has been completed, you will send us a quick note that simply says picture drop for your specific territory or your team. We ask that you do not format your card with any of the images that you've taken until the picture in the order drop has been confirmed. That way we can make sure if once we receive your order drop, if we are not able to read any of the image numbers or there's any questions, we can always refer to the original images from the memory card to be able to help us to troubleshoot. So again, do not format your card until you get confirmation that the order drop and the picture drop was confirmed. For every job that you finish, you'll go into the scheduler, you'll find the invoicing section, and you'll simply fill out the information that's asking, which will be your name, the job that you've worked, the date, and the hours. Once you update the scheduler, we'll get an automatic email. From that email, that will alert us to pay you out for the job that you've worked. All of our payments are electronically. We bank with Chase, and it generally takes 1, maybe 2 days for that initial payment to go through. After that, it's pretty quick. Now that your training has concluded, hopefully you're a little bit more versed in our processes and understand a little bit more about what we're doing. We're really excited for the next training session and for the on-the-job training. Any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much for your time.